Voice. Here we are, another Sunday, the beginning of the week, and you're with your starting pitcher, Yanni, here on the Americans Voice. Glad to have you guys here with us. Man, oh man, so many things going on in the world of media, isn't it? Things you just can't try to get around. You have to face this hurdle. And I want to talk about that, as we get off into the program today. But before we get started, just so you guys know, you can find other episodes of The Americans Voice and Yanni over at SoundCloud at The Americans Voice and Yanni. Also, you can catch us at Parler. You guys start moving away from Twitter and go over to Parler. And you can catch us there at America's Heartbeat 1 and over at Twitter at America's Voice. And you can also hit us an email too as well at the America's Heartbeat at yahoo.com. Check us right there too as well. So fired up, guys. Been really chomping at the bit, wanting to get here with you guys today and discuss some things, because this president has been under constant attack for quite some time now. And I believe we're at a precipice to where the American people are starting to push back on the propaganda. They're starting to push back on the lies that, Donald Trump is just this bad, horrible guy. And we're going to get off into the headlines because some serious things are going on right now. We're talking about the health of the president right now. A couple of days ago, when the news broke on Friday, that was like a dagger in the heart of the United States of America. The first thing people think about is Donald Trump and his age, how old he is. But if you look at the way he responds and the way that he moves around, Donald Trump, physically, his activity level was higher than most people in their 30s. And that's something to think about. So, yeah, the age is there. Yes, from what we know, Mark Meadows was saying that he was having these light fever, had a cough. They had to give him some oxygen. But I have a problem with some things that happen to swirl around the president contracting the coronavirus. And it has to do with the American media. In fact, let's subtract that from that saying. Let's call it the communist media, because realistically, in here in America, we want to hear the facts for what it is. We want the truth given to us. If you sugarcoat crap on the ground, you're walking outside and there's crap on the ground there. We put powdered sugar, granulated sugar, Hawaiian sugar, pure cane sugar, fine sugar, coffee sugar, sugar sweetener. You put every single type of sweetener on top of that, it's still crap. It's still crap. And that's what we've been getting fed the last 4.5 years, the last 5 years respectively, since this man came down the escalator. Donald Trump is the victim, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump is a human being. And so, yeah, everyone has the news in their mind occupying them right now that President Donald Trump contracts the coronavirus. And I got just a little bit of shortened version here, but just a little bit of a clip that he sent out to the American people. Cut one, please. I want to
begin by thanking all of the incredible medical professionals, the doctors, the nurses, everybody at Walter Reed Medical Center. I think it's the finest in the world, for the incredible job they've been doing. I came here, wasn't feeling so well. I feel much better now. We're working hard to get me all the way back. I have to be back because we still have to make America great again. We've done an awfully good job of that, but we still have steps to go and we have to finish that job. But this was something that happened, and it's happened to millions of people all over the world, and I'm fighting for them. Not just in the U.S., I'm fighting for them all over the world. We're going to beat this coronavirus, or whatever you want to call it, and we're going to beat it soundly. So many things have happened. If you look at the therapeutics, which I'm taking right now, some of them, and others are coming out soon that are looking like, frankly, they're miracles. If you want to know the truth, they're miracles. People criticize me when I say that, but we have things happening that look like they're miracles coming down from God. So I just want to tell you that I'm starting to feel good. You don't know over the next period of a few days. I guess that's the real test. So we'll be seeing what happens. Just say, hey, whatever happens, happens. I can't do that. We have to confront problems. As a leader, you have to confront problems. There's never been a great leader that would have done that. So that's where it is. I'm doing well. I want to thank everybody. Our First Lady is doing very well. Melania asked me to say something as to the respect that she has for our country, the love that she has for our country. And we're both doing well. Melania is really handling it very nicely. As you've probably read, she's slightly younger than me, just a little tiny bit. And therefore, just we know the disease, we know the situation with age versus younger people, probably know for sure. So I just want to thank everybody out there, everybody, all over the world, specifically the United States. The outpouring of love has been incredible. I will never forget. Thank you very much.
So there's the president there, looking a lot better. But even as the news goes on today, they're talking about that the president can be released back to the White House as early as Monday. And this is some good news, because we have some, I wouldn't even call them pundits out there. We have these psychopaths. They're wishing death on the president of the United States. They fail to realize that constitutionally, the president is the head of the executive branch. Let me paint this here for you lefties out there. You left lunatic loon balls out there that want this country to implode from within, because one Donald Trump, he is sitting in the White House. One Donald Trump is calling the shots. One Donald Trump is the most powerful man in the world right now, and they have a problem with that. But he won fair and square. Guys, look, he beat the socks, the shoes, the pants, the shirt, the belt, the necklace you have on, even your wedding ring. Handily. 17 candidates on the Republican side. And then he beat the unbeatable Hillary rotten to the core Clinton. Could someone please tell me where those emails are? No one can seem to find out where those emails are. They're somewhere hiding in a crevice or a crack in the intelligent cyberspace world out there. But we want to know where they are, because I guarantee you they weren't just about some wedding pictures. So as you see there in the video clip, President looked just a little bit weathered. But one thing I noticed, there was no shortness of breath. One thing I noticed, he stayed on message. One thing I noticed too, this is the true heartbeat of America. And I want to go into detail intimately how I believe this is going to not just help Donald Trump, but it's also going to shape the perspective that people have, or the mindset, or the vision that people have painted to all the never-Trumpers out there, or the haters out there. And it's a shame that we have to talk about this kind of stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, do you guys remember we used to talk about cats being rescued out of trees? Oh, what a beautiful story. Or how about the Girl Scouts having that incredible Girl Scout drive, and they're selling lemonade too, and they broke records? Is it possible we can talk about those things? Is it possible we can go back to our American heritage, apple pie, drive-in movies, okay? Milkshakes and hamburgers and grilling. And those that are, that feel like that it's a bad country, you can go live somewhere else. You are welcome. We have freedoms in this country. And alongside that come with those freedoms you are free to get the hell out of the United States of America. I think that's a good one. How about that? So, the Alphabet Network jokers over there, and I call them jokers because they're not real. They're not being honest. Or you have the ones that are attempting to try to play I gotcha. Why do you want to get me? I'm just an average guy. You know, I say hello. I cut my grass. Well, here in Las Vegas, we have to rake our rocks because there's no grass, you know. So, and one thing that fascinated me about when I lived in the Northwest, up in the Seattle region, in the Portland area, one thing I noticed up there, you could clearly go to the beach and you see grass. Like, there's a beautiful lawn out on the beach. You come further down south, everything would be all sandy and brown, and there's no problem with that. But I did appreciate the Northwest when I was there. But over at ABC, these lunatics, you know, I see them over at these Alphabet Networks, and they're waiting with a javelin, whether it be their CNN propagandists, reporters like Jim Acosta, with his always interrupting self. That's one of the root. And Donald Trump is right. Jim Acosta is a disgrace to CNN. In fact, let me go a step further. For all you black people out there watching CNN, since you guys are always in the position to bash us blacks that are conservatives and stuff like that too, you guys are a disgrace too for watching CNN. I'm not calling you a disgrace, but the way that you think and the direction you're going, it's a disgrace to this country. Because they're in full-throated, flaming Trump bashing mode. But they had a new, different, found opinion of the president's illness. Trump contradicts coronavirus after downplaying the risk for months. When has Trump ever really downplayed it? And look, all you lefties out there, I know you're going to say something. Well, he didn't wear a mask. He didn't want to social distance. Well, he's having these big old rallies. While you guys were burning down buildings. You guys were decapitating, pulling down, tearing up statues. Wait a minute. I'm like that commercial back in the day. But wait, there's more. You guys are the ones that broke the window and went into the Target and the Macy's and the Saks Fifth Avenues. Should I continue? Wait a minute, let's go. You guys are the one that when the inside and the contents of that building was all gone and there was no worth, you guys are the one that, little matchbook Timmy, here he comes again, making his appearance in the first strike. They just love the sound of the match as it strikes up against the coarse texture, causing it to ignite, igniting a fire and setting the store ablaze. If you're not going to follow the way that we think, if you're not going to be shamed or comport to our way of thinking or our worldview, we're going to burn the crap down. And I think I've briefly painted a little picture of how they think and how dangerous they can be. Oh yeah, don't get it twisted. Even though it's Halloween time, everyone all festive, and believe me, we're pretty festive in our household. I'm probably the most festive one of all. You know, my wife, I was more of the one that, I'm not gonna celebrate holidays. Now, you know, not like Beavis and Butthead, you know, little annoying voices. But I was more the one that, you know, I can take it, leave it. You're gonna suffer the consequences of not celebrating. I was like, consequences are all the same to me. And that's how I was. But my incredible family has prompted me to be festive. But when we should be festive, we have others that are thwarting, changing, destroying, and tearing at the fabric of this beautiful country. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I love this country. This is the greatest experiment in the history of the world. And God gave us the ability to build it. And you know what? God gave me the ability, and I'm going to defend it. No doubt about it. Trump contracts coronavirus after downplaying the risk for months. What's next? And this is their view, because I don't see him downplaying it at all. I see him being relaxed. I see him understanding that you can't run from an unseen enemy. Even though you can't see him, you have to face him. The news that President Donald Trump tested positive for the COVID-19 after playing down the coronavirus threats for months raised serious concerns on Friday about the president's health and the impact of the re-election campaign, and the most pressing question about running of the U.S. government. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we have a vice president for, right? When the president, is incapacitated right now, you go in, the president come do a little business. The president's still able, and he has his abilities. As you saw the video earlier, he is expressed the hair up to get back, and he's looking good. So those guys aren't honest. And we're going to continue to talk about the ineptness and the dishonesty of the media. But until then, I will see you in about 2 minutes. You were here on this beautiful Sunday, right here at the beginning of the week, with your captain up to bat and also pitching. I'm a hybrid on the America's Voice. Be right back. Welcome back. Yes, we are here, and we're grooving and excited about the opportunity to take this country back from the jaws of danger. Absolutely. Oh yes. We are grooving here on the American's Voice, where yes, at the beginning of the week, we create and do the Vulcan mind meld, creating electricity and static in the air, and excitement and enthusiasm for our country. Okay, let's keep moving. All right, so let's continue with these news networks, because what occupy these news networks are these activists, and we need honesty when we're going to if we're going to have a productive country, if we're going to adhere to the Constitution, would allow them to adhere to the Bill of Rights, which will allow them to not try to oppress the people. And once again, we have taxation without representation. We have lawmaking without representation. Think about the plethora of bills that come through, laws that we have to endure and live under, that they don't. But still, they want the raining bullets of government power and oppression, which causes the byproduct here. The byproduct here is depression, drugs, children experiencing households that are completely broken, two parents working, obviously. It is a mess out there. So who's going to do something about it? I submit to you, it's our responsibility to do something about it. If you don't change it, no one's going to change it. And you say, oh, well, you all that positive talk and all that stuff, this is the truth. You have to change you. I tell people all the time, me motivates me. Seriously. Over at CNN Politics, continuing. Trump's positive COVID-19 test throws country into fresh upheaval. Let's call that a little bit of a wishful thinking. That's what they want. Why should it be upheaval? Don't we have systems and methods and processes in this country to where if something goes wrong, we can handle the brunt of the responsibility that needs to to happen or do what needs to happen? We're responsible enough is what I mean. Excuse me. But we're responsible adults. And that's why the COVID thing, and we're going to talk about that in just a second too, because I got to be in my bonnet about that as well. You have the governor in New York. He's turning into a dictator while everyone sits and says Trump's the dictator. Trump's abusing his power. Trump is, he's just a tyrant. We've been hearing this all the time. And so I look at it like this. The Democratic Party, which has been slid to the left, they've been sliding far back to the left like a receding hairline. Those guys right there, they're the real problem. And so I look at the wishful thinking. Why should there be upheaval? There shouldn't be. We have systems and methods. But they say here, President Donald Trump has had a fever since Friday morning after testing positive for coronavirus. Well, as of today, he's been fever-free as of this morning. So the wishful thinking, like those who wish the president will die. Well, how would you feel if someone was wishing death on you? That's a great question. I believe it is, right? How would you feel? Wouldn't feel too good. Not too good, would it? No, it wouldn't. And I'd have a problem with that too. According to a person familiar with the matter, as a stunning development that through everything's a stunning development with these guys. You notice that? Everything's a bombshell. You notice that? Everything's going to end Donald Trump's presidency. You notice that? Everything's going to throw this whole country into upheaval and in peril. Wouldn't that be great if we were just able to just shut those guys down? Just click with a click of a button, just shut them down and say it's over, you're done, kaput. But a stunning development threw a country into unnerved by a devastating health catastrophe and a turbulent political season into a fresh upheaval Friday. We've talked about them addressing Trump's health, how he was overweight and you eat too many Big Macs. You sound like the annoying mother that's constantly pestering you to clean up your room. You're like, Ma, I cleaned my room. No, it isn't. She smokes like a pack of cigarettes a day. 3 packs a day. That's them. So everything is just a scandal, or everything is horrible. Trump was taken to Walter Reed National Military Hospital Center Friday afternoon and will remain there for several days. The White House said he has been administered a dose of Regeneron and has remained fatigued, according to the memorandum by his physician. As of this afternoon, President Donald Trump remains fatigued, out, but in good spirits. At least they said that. And that's all the time I'm going to use on those jokers, because they truly don't deserve the time. They don't deserve the respect as you have, I don't really care about statues, Nancy Pelosi constantly hurling bullets across the bow in one Donald Trump's direction. So what does Donald Trump do? Here he goes. Hey, I need my 6-shooter. Yeah, that right there, my 6-shooter. And they pull this thing out, and it's huge. The most beautiful thing in the world. The most beautiful 6-shooter in the world. That's the president, right? He opened up, these doors open up, and he is lodging torpedoes the size of the moon at the Democratic Party, and they can't stand it. It's been all these years. Surely by now they would have gotten rid of Donald Trump. Surely by now he would have been impeached successfully, but it didn't happen. So I'm gonna tell you guys, everyone in the country, he's doing good. So that's good news for the president, but it's bad news for those haters out there. So you guys, we have to understand that it's truly time to get comfortable or comfy. You have Auntie Gertrude. She's tucking you in and you're like 10 years old. This is little Matchbox Timmy I'm talking about before he got corrupted and turned into an arsonist. She's tucking him in and he is comfortable. I say that to say this. We better get comfortable with COVID-19, the China virus, coronavirus. Like the president said, it has a ton of names. We better get comfortable with it because it's not going anywhere. So us hiding and bunkering down like some scared lemmings, afraid to get wet by the rain, which is really good for you, we won't go outside. But when it comes to doing something that's going to destructively tear up the country, they're like lemmings and they're out on the streets and they're pushing this country off a cliff. So how about some well-known names that we know out there, that people that have contracted COVID-19? Most of which I believe you guys, they're hated and despised by some devout leftists out there. But there are some out there that people might like or love. Melania Trump. That's somebody you guys know, right? I think that name sounds familiar. Kellyanne Conway. Hope Hicks. Chris Christie. I feel like he's slimming down a little bit, ain't he? That guy used to be big as a house, man. I used to call him Chris Buttercream Crispy. Chris Buttercream Krispy Kreme Christie. There you go. Say that 10 times. Senator Mike Lee, Senator Tom Tillis, RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel, Senator Ron Johnson. You guys know that in early August, Herman Cain contracted coronavirus. And he succumbed to it because he had pre-existing conditions. And that was a sad day, losing Herman Cain. I'm sure Herman Cain wish he would have loved to have been here to be effective and helping this president win this election. But look, the Brazil's president, that's another one. We dip off into sports. Cam Newton, the quarterback for the New England Patriots. Isn't that weird, guys? Having Cam Newton as the New England Patriots, and then you have that odd move for Tom Brady to go down south of Florida. That's just the Buccaneers, right? Is it the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay, something like that? Ezekiel Elliott of the Cowboys, Rashad Bateman, Mike Norvell, a head coach, Nick Watney of the PGA, Baseball Hall of Famer Tom Seaver. He died August 31st. He succumbed to it. Okay? And New Orleans Saints players has it as well. So guys, while everyone was bunkering up in their house and reinforcing their still and scared to go outside, the virus was sitting out there waiting just like the flu. And how come we can't talk about the death statistics of how many people die from the flu every single year? How about pneumonia? How come we can't talk about those things? I think we should. I think it's about a conversation to have. How about you? And so we sit and we bash the president over not being prepared. And we have one Joe Biden, one Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and all of those people there. They're talking about the president's response. He was too slow. I remember Nancy Pelosi being down in Chinatown. And the thing she said to everyone in Chinatown was, come on down. No mask on. Dr. Fauci said a mask wasn't necessary back in those earlier months. But now we have to wear a mask. Now you have to comply to our almighty government, putting us in that position to obey. Just obey. There's this movie I saw back, it was in, I think it was the early 90s or late 80s. And the late Rod Piper, I love watching that guy wrestle. He was in this movie and these aliens were taking over the world. You guys who've seen it, it's called They Live. And they were taking over the world. And they got these special glasses. And he happened to stumble upon them. But once he did, there's a black guy, I forgot what his name was, another guy I like too. He tried to convince him to wear the glasses. Well, he had a different opinion. He had a different idea. He didn't want to wear those glasses. Those glasses were just not made for his face because Roddy Piper wanted him to wear them. This big old fight scene in the alleyway there. But I say that to say this. What if there were some special glasses? Some special glasses to where you could see if the Democrat Party are aliens or not. Okay. Special glasses, put them on, and you'll have all this literature and all these big signs blinking. Guys, check out the movie. Have all these big signs blinking saying vote Democrat. Big old signs up there. That'd be fascinating to see. But on a serious note, it's a big deal because reports say that the CDC health officials resisted disease closures of the United States border. Now you guys think about that for a second. Trump shut down the United States of America, coming from China, when all this stuff broke here. It's called a xenophobe, this phobe, that phobe. Just call him President Phobe. But the president's call was right. I mean, he was right. He made the right call. I believe he did. And I believe he saved thousands of lives. Even the holy Dr. Fauci. He agreed that Trump saved thousands of lives. Is that okay, having thousands of lives being saved? The Vice President Mike Pence and other White House officials had to order uncooperative federal healthcare managers to shut down the U.S.-Mexican border during the coronavirus crisis, according to the reports. The managers at the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, who raised objections, didn't change their assessment of the border policy even as COVID spread rapidly. But wait a minute. I thought Trump was the irresponsible one. I thought Trump is the heinous, hideous ball of furry mess that's killed 208,000 Americans. And guys, look, that's an affront to my intelligence too. Blaming the president for the deaths of all those people, making it political. Everything is political right now. So they were pushing back on the president as this disease was spreading rapidly over Latin America. According to an October 3rd Wall Street Journal report, which cited an administration official familiar with their thinking. In February and March, CDC officials advising Dr. Robert Redfield, the CDC director, and told him that they believed the border closure was a backdoor effort to achieve the administration's goal, hear this out here, of cracking down on illegal immigration, according to multiple officials involved in the discussion. We're going to stop right there. We're talking about a disease that's wiping out people on one, i.e. planet Earth. And they're concerned and think that the president and other people, is illegal immigration a problem? Absolutely. Do we want to stop people from penetrating our country and our borders? Absolutely. Do we want to tap down the problem we have with child sex trafficking? Absolutely. But to try to make this a political thing to where we think the president is using this to try to clamp down on immigration. Ladies and gentlemen, that cycle never ends. Ever. It never ends. Because that's our responsibility to protect our language, our borders, and our culture. That's what I believe. So these saps, people completely dishonest, they're allowing the borders to stay open. Trump is attempting to shut it down. And here it comes many, many months later. And it's coming around right about the time that we're having that election. And we're going to continue to talk about these thieves that are robbing America, hitting them over the head with some rotten culture, truly trying to take away our heritage. We're going to break all those things down when we come back on The American's Voice. See you in 2. This is a reason. Welcome back, everyone. I believe Trump will be stronger, much stronger, after he's able to recover, which we see him recovering starting the beginnings of that as of today, here Sunday, August 4th, on this disease. But I believe the COVID-19, him being contracting the COVID-19 is going to help him. I touched on it very briefly because Trump experiencing the COVID-19, he has a fresh perspective. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. He now has a fresh perspective. One, he was outside of the situation, the disease, the virus, talking from what he saw from an external point of view. But now Trump has an opportunity from the internal, experiencing the fever, experiencing the pain, the loss of taste, oxygen needing to be administered. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump now. Don't tell nobody this. Don't tell nobody. Trump has a dog in the fight. Drop the mic. Drop the mic. Just drop it all. And this is why I say this. Because the leader of this country, he didn't have this perspective 3 days ago. He just didn't. But now, because of the China virus ravaging through all of, look like most of the White House staff, and ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is extremely dishonest and also laughable to think the reason why they contracted the coronavirus. I am all tongue-tied today. But the reason why they contracted the coronavirus is because they were irresponsible. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, do these seem like people who are irresponsible? The way they dress, the cleanliness, the hygiene, all that stuff. Do these people seem like the type that are going to put themselves in a position to just do dumb stuff? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to you? Does this make sense to any thinking brain in this country? Because it doesn't to me. It kind of disturbs my noodle just a little bit. It makes me want to be like, what are these jokers up to? And so you got to be curious about this. But when he talks about the China virus, now he'll be speaking from that fresh experiment or experience. The empathy for those who are sick will be deeper, I believe. It'll be more genuine coming from him. Even those that somewhat are undecided, or some that just don't care particularly for the president. We need this country, and those voters, the ones who've been stricken by this disaster disease, I just see them saying, you know what? He's doing the same thing I'm dealing with. You guys notice when you could be somewhere in the other part of the world, and everyone's speaking Mandarin, Chinese, or whatever language they might speak. But you could be somewhere in the other part of the world, and you see someone with a football jersey of your team, or any American team for that matter, and that connection, you guys are connected together because there's that camaraderie. So that camaraderie is, I believe, the secret in this Molotov cocktail, which I call the October surprise, truly an October surprise. And so we have so many things on the horizon, so many things bubbling, so many things happening. And we have a choice to make here. In about 30 days, we need this country. Those who share this disease in this country, they're going to rally behind this president. That unique connection that he's going to make, this October surprise that I believe will get Trump over the finish line. There's always an October surprise. You notice how habits happen every single year? October surprise. Kind of like we constantly had these fires in California. But we're blaming climate change. Just a side note. But in the midst of all this stuff here, this president is undergoing surgery by withering attacks from many foes, many enemies, many channels, many sources. The intelligence community, they've been after this guy. The Democrats have been after this guy. The Republicans have been after this guy. The Never-Trumpers have been after this guy. Other foreign nations have been after this guy. And he's still standing. And they're pretty pissed off about that too. They're like the little witch on, remember the Wizard of Oz, right? I'm going to get you and your little dog too. They want Trump. He suffered these attacks. How about Access Hollywood? You guys remember that one, right? That was a good one. Oh, the Billy Bush tapes. Oh, this is the end of Donald Trump. The end of Trump. How about Russiagate? How about the campaign financing violation thing? How about Stormy Daniels, Ukraine Gate, Soldier Gate? He was talking about the soldiers while he was abroad. Lie after lie after lie after lie. John Bolton's book. How about the Atlantic article here recently? Or Bob Woodward's book. How about his niece's book, Constant Attacks? So, if it be that Trump wins by a landslide, under all this continuous breathing, firebrand, arrow throwing lefties, they're going to feel really, really dumb. But on that though, I have to say, it's time to face the enemy. There's a big enemy out there. Then you have Pelosi and the like holding the country hostage with this bill. All types of pork. Let me ask you a question too. If we need to address the one coronavirus situation, how come it is all this pork and other items keep finding its way into the bill, creeping in like a criminal, coming into your house unexpected? You know, you lock all your doors, you go to work, you come back home, and there he is sitting on the couch with a bowl of cereal. And you're like, how did you get in here? Kind of reminds me of my little brother. He was like an expert housebreaker-inner. But he meant all well. He's a good guy. And so this is what we're constantly dealing with. And then we have the other situation. The first racist president. Now, do you guys believe that? Do you believe that we've voted in the first racist president? Are we that stupid, that naive, that lacking of pride, that lacking of the strong culture that we have, that lacking of our democratic establishment that we have here? We have a democracy here. Okay? This is the strong republic, and it will cease to exist unless we start using our noodle in a positive way and putting ourselves in position to win. So, yeah, 95% of the press, you guys already know, is negative. It overshadows and it muzzles all the things that this guy does. And I say it over and over again. I'm going to say it again for all you lunatics. I am not a special pleader for the president. I have to tell the truth like it is, though. President Donald Trump, in terms that are undisputable and that are clear and explicit, concrete, discreet, what I see about this president here, okay, his denunciation of white supremacists, white nationalists, KKK, whatever label you want to put on it, they still call this guy a racist. But like a good rabid creatures of the mainstream media, breathing and panting and foaming all over the place. Okay? It renders a terrible disservice to our country. And it really does. You know, and because of this here, I believe, you know, I look at the free expression. I look at the love for this country. I look at the freedom of speech for this country. We've taken this and turned it on its head. And now we've abused that medium of a free speech that we have. It's important that we protect it. And, you know, I love the free speech. But I'm going to address this Charlottesville thing again. It's so many of us out here ringing the bells, banging the pots and pans about this Charlottesville situation. And again, I'm going to bring more clarity, okay? And I'm going to invert myself and allow you to be immersed in what the truth is. One thing they taught me when I was growing up as a child was, if you wanted the truth, be like, Yanni, if you want the truth, you go get it straight from the horse's mouth. And some people really look like horses too. They got this big old long faces, this big old schnauzer or something. God bless them. But you want to hear it from the horse's mouth. And so this whole Charlottesville thing has been a constant bee in the bonnet of most God-fearing, president-loving, country-loving Americans too as well. So I'm going to address this to the best of my ability. Because the country has been rendered a disservice, and that's a disservice to the president too, who is a victim in all this here. Whether you want to believe that or not, I look at the facts. Anyways, so I'm going to address the Charlottesville thing here and give you that clarity. So Joe Biden, because of this, he found himself on the precipice of wanting to run for president. And him making that decision, something happened that happened in 2017. President Donald Trump did not denounce the white supremacists, the white nationalists, and he said there are good people on both sides. This prompted him to run for the presidency. Well, guys, I feel there's something going on here. Because he says, I ran for that. And again, you know, the highest office in the land, you know, run by one of the dumbest politicians ever. He starts his campaign with a hoax. Think about it. His whole campaign isn't built on the truth. Then this whole Build Back Better nonsense he's talking. He sounds like President Trump. But I'm going to address this, okay? On August 12, 2017, James Alex Fields deliberately drove his car into a crowd of people. You guys remember that, right? Into a crowd of people who have been peacefully protesting the United Right rally in Charlottesville, and apparently they have those every single year. Virginia, killing 1, injuring 19. The 20-year-old Fields had driven from Ohio to attend the rally, and that's what's happening nowadays. You guys, there's these pockets of these so-called protesters, which are rioters, arsonists, and looters, and they're coming into these cities and causing disruption. Realistically, if you're in your city or your state, those people in that city or state that are affected by those policies, they should be the one in that city or state protesting for the change that they feel they need to see. Because other than that, it's going to be upheaval, it's going to be a problem, and it's going to cause all types of situations. Fields previously espoused the neo-Nazi white supremacist beliefs. He was convinced in a state court of hit and run. It was convicted in state court, of hit and run and first degree murder of a 32-year-old Heather Heyer, and 8 counts of malicious wounding, and sentenced to life in prison. How about we kill this guy? This guy's a domestic terrorist. We want to take down and destroy terrorists all over the world. How about we take down these domestic terrorists and start hanging them in the public square and make an example out of them? But that's too rich for the American blood. Don't do that. Oh, he just killed that guy. August 14th, 2017. President Trump denounced the KKK, white nationalists, right here on tape. There is no way to get around it. You can't refute it. We're going to get off into some of this video clippage, and we need to dissect this, and hopefully we can put this to bed and rest the debate over this about president being a racist. I would not have voted for the man if I thought he was a racist. I'm a black man, obviously, as you can see. Now, those before video, he sounds like a white guy sometimes. That's fine. But we'll be right back in 2. Hang tight.
Shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on, I'm talking to you. Come on. Shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on.
been something about the way you say my name. It holds me up, it sets me back and forth again. There's always been something about the way you're not quite there and still you're everywhere. My messy mind has ever been. Oh, don't speak to me, I don't wanna know.
The Department of Justice has opened a civil rights investigation into the deadly car attack that killed one innocent American and wounded 20 others. To anyone who acted criminally in this weekend's racist violence, you will be held fully accountable. Justice will be delivered. As I said on Saturday, we condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. And as I have said many times before, no matter the color of our skin, we all live under the same laws. We all salute the same great flag and unite together in condemnation of hatred, bigotry, and violence. We must rediscover the bonds of love and loyalty that bring us together as Americans. Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans.
Bigotry in America. Welcome back to the American's Voice, ladies and gentlemen. You guys heard it right there, loud and clear with your own ears. And not just that, you had the bird's eye view, the bird's eye ability to see it with your own eyes. The president was very explicit. And not just that, once again, I'm like that unsnake oil salesman that's attempting to get into that wallet. But wait, there's more. Cut number 3, please.
And if you reported it accurately, you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. No, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down, excuse me, are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now we're going to take down the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. Because they should be condemned. 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 Because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits and with the helmets and with the baseball bats. You had a lot of bad people who legally protest because, you know, I don't know if you know, they had a permit. The other group didn't have a permit. So I only tell you this: there are two sides to a story. I thought what took place was a horrible moment for our country, a horrible moment. But there are two sides.
And there he is again. The media is so dishonest. And this one, as you guys can see, that was a fiery exchange right there. You know, but here's what it is. It's the twisting of the facts. It's criminal what you see here. Every single day, any type of way to make a scandal, he's denouncing it again a time later. And this was in 2019. Over and over and over again. And what that reminds me of is like Groundhog's Day. Denounce, denounce, denounce. I'll need you to denounce white supremacy. Well, I just did. Well, I did yesterday. Whoa, I don't remember. Denounce it again. Denounce the Proud Boys or Rude Boys. The Rude Boys. Denounce everything we say. You should denounce. Or you're a bigot. You are stone cold washed like those acid wash jeans in the 80s or early 90s. You're played out. You are a stone cold washed bigot. That's what they want to say. And so you have that proof. And as I'm looking at this video again, I'm like, the words are coming out of his mouth. Are we watching Rush Hour 2? Can you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Can you? Because it is like Groundhog's Day. That movie with Bill Murray, you say something and it repeats over and over again. Trump is constantly repeating. And as that day resets, they don't have an ability to remember. Because the leftist lunatic syndrome, the Trump derangement syndrome, is overtaking the brains. The marchers chanted racist, anti-Semitic slogans and carried weapons. This is the question I have, though. They're calling Trump a racist, right? They're calling him a racist. But as I look at these rallies, all I'm really seeing is white people. Something's not right here. If I'm white, is he racist against whites? Because if these protests in Charlottesville occupied, in which there's some black people with the Proud Boys or whatever, I'm not going to get off into that right now. If a majority of these are white people, it's not a movement, is what I'm saying, like BLM. Or Black Lives Don't Matter. It's not that type of movement. It's a lot of skinheads and all that stuff mixed in there. So how does that make him a racist again? If it's the people that he's talking about are the same color as him, or they're just saying because of what they stand for, and he says they're good people on both sides. Guys, look here. We are human beings in this country. We are Americans. And everyone in America should have that wholesomeness to them. They should have that testimony from the American people that live in this country that you are truly a great patriot, a great American. That's all I can say about that, you know? And so, and neo-Nazi symbols, the Wagner Confederate flags, the battle flags, I'm probably going to tilt some people's buckets here, because this is my belief on the flag, the Confederate flag. I look at it like this. This nation was built on freedoms. This nation was built on freedom of speech, your fresh, your Bill of Rights, your protections, all the big blanket and umbrella that covers us and wraps its arms around us. I have no problem with the Confederate flag, the battle flag, none of those flags. Here's the reason why. Because it's just a piece of material. It's just a flag. That's all it is. It's not going to change the way that I wake up, the way that I eat, the way that I breathe, the way that I think, that I shoot down garbage, the way that I dismantle leftists, the way that I let you know how the cow ate the cabbage. That's how it goes down. But I have no problem with those flags. I just don't. And so people getting upset about those types of things, I have no problems with the statues either. As I'm walking through this country as a young man, it was our heritage. It's what we did. This is my country. And so to see people deface it is like them coming and attempting to deface the outside of my home. To see them deface and discredit what the president does, it's like they're doing it to me. But these factions over there, obviously, every single year is popping up over and over and over again. And so let's look at this racist thing some more. Because that groundswell is occurring again. And look, guys, don't doubt me on this one here. The reason why they're stoking the racist flames again this close to the election is because that is Joe Biden's main reason he say he ran for the election. So they got to keep it going. He's a racist, because if not, that's going to kill Joe Biden's campaign reason why he launched his candidacy. But the organizers stated goals including unifying the American white nationalist movement, opposing the opposed removal of the statue gender, the united right. Year after year, these Nazi form in Charlotte are causing havoc all the time. You don't really see it on the news because I'm going to tell you why. It doesn't fit their narrative. So if it doesn't fit their narrative, there's no need for them to use it. If it can't beat or bludgeon Donald Trump, they don't need it, they don't want it, they don't want to hear about it. Doesn't even matter. White supremacist members arrested on riot charges tied to Charlottesville every single year. And this was in 2018. The Rise Above movement and 2 other members were arrested and charged with traveling to incite and participate in riots. This is what's happening. But guys, this stuff has accelerated more since back then. It's metastasized into something else. And so every single year, and that's why I don't have a problem with people expressing their freedom to talk, view their opinions and their voice. You can come and call me the N-word. When I was younger, that word affected me, but now it just doesn't. It's just word. There is no physical altercations that are happening here. So if you want to say it, just go say it across the street. If I don't want to hear it, I have the choice in this free country to go somewhere else. The leaders of the Southern California white supremacist group and 2 other members were arrested on charges of inciting deadly riots in Charlottesville, Virginia last year, prosecutors said Wednesday. The arrest came weeks after group members were indicted in Virginia on similar charges. Now, that little snapshot there is to show you they do this every single year in and year out. And so, as you guys heard for the last time, hopefully, the president expressing even that last video clip there, that he denounced that stuff. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. They're still slanging mud. And what we're going to do when we come back, we're going to close out this game for the week. And we're going to slang some mud ourselves right here on the American's Voice. And I am your super independent captain, stirring up trouble and drama right here. Be right back. Hey, welcome back everyone, welcome back. We're going to continue to slay the giants of misinformation attempting to thwart our country and put ourselves right back on the track in straight attack mode. Back to Charlottesville. Charlottesville seemed to have been to me a boiling point of discussion for many people. There are 2 schools of thought in the United States of America, I believe. There's a school of thought that's right. There's a school of thought that's left. There's a school of thought of being informed and engaged. There's a school of thought of being propagandized to and no movement or action. Truly what I'm saying is America is divided, but not for the reasons everyone tries to say. America's divided because we just think differently. Once a leftist, almost always a leftist. Once a conservative, always a conservative. Once a Republican, especially a rhino, he flip-flops like flapjacks. Give me some extra curb and syrup and butter. But in 2016, we had altercations there. Once again, this wasn't discussed or talked about by the mainstream media because it did not fit the narrative for the time. So of course, there's no need to talk about it. Keith Lamont Scott, a 43-year-old African-American man, was fatally shot September 20th, 2016. This is the year before the Charlottesville thing. In Charlottesville, North Carolina, by Brentley Vincent, an African-American city police officer. Shh. You guys hear the crickets? Yeah, that's crickets. This is where Planet Zero comes from. 2017, we have Heather Heyer. 2018, same cast of characters as I was just reading earlier here, inciting the crowd. And why does this media say anything? They say nothing. Because it doesn't fit in that small little box that says attack Donald Trump, attack DT. That's almost like a wrestling move with the Democratic Party. Attack DT. But what's rising out of this here? Same violence, same people, same media. Can you imagine what's going to happen once Trump is gone? These guys are going to be out there on the side of the road panhandling for nickels or pennies. And they'll be praying for the day so they can get money that folds. So they can walk into a Starbucks with dignity and buy a $4 coffee without having to put change all over the counter. But this culture, I have a problem with it because this culture is creating a black protected class. Very, very dangerous. And people say, wouldn't you want to protect the class, you being a black man? I want protections for everyone. But there's the dangers. There's a double standard out there. You know, you're black, you can do this. You don't have to go to the sensitive training classes that they have all the Caucasians having to endure now, which I believe is completely unfair. And that right there is racist too. But we don't want to talk about that. We need to refamiliarize ourselves with our American history. The United States presents the good, the bad, the ugly, the greats. We weren't built on racism. And so why are there so many presidents that do not have those characteristics? And go back and look at the history of our presidents. I'm going to play a 2-minute video clip. It's going to run through all the presidents because all you non-educated, low information voters, lefties out there, you need to see and familiarize yourself with the presidents. We used to talk about this stuff all the time. Now you never hear kids talk about the presidents. You never hear them talk about the Constitution. You never hear them talk about the war and segregation and how we've overcome so many things. How we've overcome the stigma of racism in the South. How we've overcome people being ostracized because they were in a interracial relationship or marriage. We've overcome all these situations in our history. But here we are in 2020 again, addressing it again, because we hate President Donald Trump just that much. Look, guys, if we're going to get over this hump, we have a long ways to go. But check out this video here, and you tell me what you think when you see those presidents is playing through. Cut 5, please. Isn't that just a beautiful thing? And I think me being a conservative like I am, used to be a Republican many years ago, even when we got to the 44th president of the United States was Barack Obama, we added a little splash of color in there, right? That was really good. We added a splash of color. But there was a sense of pride when I looked at that picture too as well. So, and he's a Democrat president. Guys, I have no problem with Democrat presidents. I have a problem with leftists, Marxists, socialists, people trying to have their Americans on the government dole from cradle to grave, to where they control their life. Wake up, America, wake up. It's enough of this stuff. They've been having rain over the Supreme Court justice pick. They're losing their bananas. They're throwing up all over the sneakers. They're ringing their pots and pans, which has this irritating screech to it. And you're like, where'd you get this instrument from? Making their noise. But for nearly 50 years, 47 years, we've been murdering babies. 47 years. We've been talking about, especially as of late, it's a woman's choice to choose. You can't say what we do with my body. How idiotic, you say. While there's a human being inside of you waiting for a chance to grow, waiting for that chance to be an impactful player in the United States of America, waiting for a chance to be better, but you snuff that out as you take their lives away from them. And this is the real deal. These babies have common sense. They're smart on the inside before they're even born. So we have to fight and protect those kids. That's my belief, and I will never change. Then we have Ted Cruz over at CNN last week, sparring and going fisticuffs with Jake Tapper over there. And it's all it was Cuomo, Governor Cuomo's brother. And I watched the video. I'm gonna play a small little segment because of time constraints. And I want you to tell me what you think about the standard, about carrying yourself in a way that should be worthy of a journalist. This is the reason why I say they're propagandists, they are activists over at CNN, which right now, this is the Cuomo News Network. Let's take a look.
Chris, there was a time when CNN actually cared about being journalistic and talking about facts. Donald Trump broke you guys. I mean, you're just, really? Your entire show, your entire network now is just how much. The press is completely hypocritical on this issue.
Really?
The press is partisan in this regard. So 10 years ago, 2010, Joe Biden gave a eulogy for Robert Byrd, who was a grand cyclops of the KKK. Yeah. That's 10 years ago.
You're really going to go with that?
Oh, yeah.
I know you're a master debater, and Professor Dershowitz tells me you were the smartest student he ever had at Harvard Law. You're going to go with that weak-ass argument here? Byrd, who had a complete enlightenment about how hate was wrong, who changed his life, who spoke about it,
Chris,
who changed
have you
his
ever
ways.
Eulogized a Klansman? I haven't. I'll give you another example.
No, hold on. That's your example.
Hold on.
That's your example. You're going to use
that.
No,
I'll give you another one. I give you a lot of examples.
But hold on, because I don't want you to run away from the premise, Senator. I'm not you, but I'm not a fool either.
Chris, you know, I'm glad you take tips on insults from other folks.
Really?
Look,
am I insulting you, sir?
Oh yeah,
so?
Oh yeah, you are, and you're enjoying it. That's
I am
fine.
not enjoying it at all.
Chris,
I'm not enjoying anything about this except having an opportunity for you to say the right thing
at the right time.
There was a time when
CNN actually cared about being journalistic and talking about facts. Donald Trump broke you guys. I mean, you're just your entire show. Your entire network now is just how much you
talk
hate
about
Trump.
Somebody who had a chance to talk about policy but just stuck with a person? Nobody did it more than you did. That's why he gave you the nickname he did and beat you down with it. The idea that you're going to put that on the media. My brother, you are the guy who went on Twitter talking about my naked ass, but you won't tell him. Why would you put it on me?
Chris, fine, you hate the president.
I do not hate the president. You are too smart to say something that stupid.
Chris,
I respect him as president. I want better for this country.
And there's Cruz. Trump broke you guys' entire network. I look at Trump coming in. He's looking around. There's stuff over here, and he's like, what is this? Oh, no, Mr. President, don't touch that. Donald Trump touches it, and destroys it. And in turn of him destroying it, he brings back order. Wednesday, CNN, Cuomo prime time, Senator Ted Cruz went head-to-head. This is truly they did, with Chris Cuomo on the topics including COVID-19, allegations of racism and aimed at Donald Trump, the economic issues, and Trump's Supreme Court appointment during a nearly 20-minute long segment. Why? How come? Just why? How come we can't have a conversation with the left and them not talk about racism? How come we can't have a conversation with the left and not talk about the way the country is being destroyed by Donald Trump? How come we can't have a conversation with the left and it be a coherent conversation, one with substance and no arguing? The reason why, and the answer to your question is, we can't, because leftism, being a Democrat today, having a Marxist ideology, it's a mental disorder. And that's all I got to say about that. And that's all I have, though, time for. The beginning of this week, I got so much stuff I wish I could get to. Oh my gosh. Man, so much stuff. But we're going to have to wait and get to that next week, guys. So you guys have been here with your tower information. Yanni here on the America's Voice. Great to be with you guys at the beginning of the week. And I will see you guys next week here on your channel. See you back then.
Let's talk about love. Is it anything and everything you offer? Or do you feel it hard?